Haha, Dick, you know what the fuck, man? I am so gonna have to Karen today right now because I haven't gotten my mail for 16 fucking days. And it's because I just found out that my mail carrier just decided not to give me my fucking mail and they stuck return to sender on every single thing about it. You know what else? On top of this, my credit card company was like, hey, we're going to send you a completely different credit card with a different number. We're just going to stop using, you can just, whatever, we're going to send you a credit card in the mail. And it's a different company's card and it's a different number and everything. So last night I go to my mailbox and I found out that I haven't gotten mail for 16 days. And then I get this message from my credit card company saying that they're sending me a new card. So I'm like, oh, great. You know, like I'm not getting my mail and I'm not getting my new credit card. And these are very first world problems, I understand. But the thing is like, I'm not getting into that necessarily. I have a good life, etc. But this just reminded me that, you know, you have to go through so much bullshit in life. And like, nobody's like apologizing for this on top of this, you know? So I just got back from the post office. I went to two post office offices. And the first place I go to, I go, hey, can you help me with this? And the guy started to help me. And then he's like the supervisor. And I didn't go in there going like, I demand to, but I did say like, hey, can I talk to the postmaster? And then so I get this guy and then he's like, we can't help you. And I go, why? He goes, well, because you get your mail from some other office. And then I go, well, can you just help me? Maybe you can call them. And he goes, nope, get out. Now you're probably like, you must have been screaming at him. No. It's me. I don't scream at anybody. I go, hey, can you help me out? I haven't gotten my mail for 16 days. And he's like, get out. And I'm like, what the fuck? So then I go to this other post office building. So I go to this other post office building and I talk to this lady and I go, hey, can I talk to the postmaster or whoever the supervisor I was told to talk to? She goes, just tell me because I'm going to have to tell them. I go, it's a long story, but I haven't got my mail in 16 days. And then she goes, I'll be right back. And then she comes back and she goes, here, you got to fill this out. No, sorry, no apology, nothing. I go, well, can you give me my mail? And she goes, you don't have any mail anymore because we sent it back, returned to sender. And I go, why'd you do that? And she goes, because your mailbox got full. Let me tell you something. I know my mailbox didn't get full because the last time I used my mailbox, there was some dumb card in there. And it said, do you still live here or whatever? And I was like, what the fuck is this about? And as it turns out, it's because I have like a substitute mail carrier who doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground, which is fine. I'm not going to go jump on that guy's ass. I've been the new person in my life. But the thing is like he took all my mail. And the reason I know my mailbox wasn't full was because the last time I was at my mailbox, I had this dumb card from him and it said, hey, do you still live here? And I went, yes. And then I left it in there and I put it in a certain spot and it was still in that spot when I opened my mailbox yesterday. On top of that, you can go online and go check the post office. You can check to see what kind of, they take all your mail and they take pictures of it or scan it or whatever, Xerox it. They do whatever. They copy it or something. So last night I went on the website for the post office and then I could see the mail that I've received. I've received like 7 or 8 pieces of mail, like letters. That doesn't fill up my box. And so if this lady at the post office had just said like, hey, why are you telling me that your box wasn't full? I could have said, I used the service that you offer online to go see the exact mail I've not been getting from you. And it's not enough to fill the box. It's like 5 or 6 pieces of mail. And this is business mail. Like, I get my business mail and my personal mail in the same spot. So they're fucking up my business and they're fucking up my life. So I've missed out on a whole bunch of like actually important mail. And have they apologized? No, they treated me like garbage. Now, if you're like, oh, well, that's the post office. I don't believe that. I've always been a defender of the post office. Always. Like, I heard this comedian once, years and years ago. He goes, oh, somebody comes to your house, you put a stamp on an envelope, and somebody will come to your house and pick it up, and then they'll carry it across the country for you. You know, like that's amazing. And then some people are like, oh, we should just give this to UPS and FedEx. Man, do you know how much the mail would cost? Like you would spend 10 times the amount of money on the mail. I still defend the post office. I'm not trying to go on some anti-post office rant at all. I'm going on an accountability situation, or not even that. I just want people to be nice. Like, these people weren't nice to me, and they told me I was wrong when I know I'm not, because I'm using their service to find out that my mailbox is not full, and I'm filling out everything they're telling me to fill out. So on top, so that nobody says sorry. They all treat me like garbage, and I'm like, what is this? And then this is dovetailing with the fact that, so 2 years ago, some guy ran a stop sign and smashed into my car, totaled my car, sent me to the hospital with a traumatic brain injury I'm still dealing with, clearly. And guess what? Guess how many times that guy's apologized to me? 0. Have I heard from that guy? No. That guy who had that guy's insurance company, have they replaced my car? No. It's been 2 years. How many apologies or anything have I gotten from any of this? 0. On top of this, I had this old friend for 20 years. And this old friend suddenly blocked me on everything. And so people were like, why did that person block you? And I go, I don't know. And they go, hey, you should reach out to that person and see why they blocked you. And I go, the last thing I'm going to do if somebody blocks me is to go ask them why they blocked me. Because if they blocked me, that means they don't want to hear from me. I just thought, okay, they've lost their mind. So then all year long, I've not been contacting this person. And then out of the blue, this person messaged me and was like, hey, are you angry at me? I heard that you were angry at me. And I go, no, I'm not angry at you. I go, I'm sad that you, blocked me on all these things. So why did you block me? I want you to tell me the truth. Why did you block me? And then this person goes, well, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. I was like, what the fuck? I was just minding my own fucking business. I was just minding my own business. And this person texts me to cause some fucking drama so that they can come at me, even though they've already blocked me for no reason. So what I'm getting at is, man, look, I'm not saying it's all people. That's not it at all. I'm a very lucky person in the fact that, I got a roof over my head and I have a pretty good life. I have this head injury I've got to deal with occasionally, like that, like it hurts right now. So I have problems and all this stuff, but at the end of the day, I have, 95% of the people in my life are great. I've gotten rid of all of the bad people. I've blocked people too, as I've mentioned, and, fuck them, I don't give a fuck about them. They suck. All of them. Everybody I've ever blocked is a piece of shit. So I get it. Sometimes you got to block somebody and, sometimes you're on the job as a postal person and you fuck up and you steal somebody's mail. Not steal, but they stopped giving me my mail and then they won't say sorry. Or some guy runs a stop sign and then completely fucks up my life for years and years and doesn't give a fuck. Doesn't say sorry. Doesn't fucking nothing. His insurance company won't replace my car. We're just sometimes when you see these polls of Americans and the polls are oh, a lot of Americans think America's on the wrong track. And then the media that I'm part of will be like, well, it must be because of the economy or it must be because of the inflation or whatever. You know what I think it is? I think it's that people don't know how to say fucking thank you and sorry and excuse me or any of that bullshit anymore. I'm not saying everybody. There's just enough fuck faces. Like I've said many times, life is this bell curve. And in this bell curve, you've got really shitty people, and then you've got, average and good people, everyday people, and then you got, extraordinary Mother Teresa types or whatever. I don't want to get in a big debate about Mother Teresa. I'm using Mother Teresa as a metaphor. You can use Obama or whoever you like. What I'm saying is, there's people down here that suck. They've gotten worse. They've gotten worse. They're so sucky. There's so many fucking shitty assholes now. And I think it's This is my honest to God theory. I think that here's my theory. My theory is, here we are in America, and, first of all, we've got everybody was living at home for a year and a half or 2 years or whatever, and they couldn't leave. And then a bunch of people who were married couldn't go fuck their mistresses. And so they were all upset, and that's why a lot of them got divorced. They're like, oh man, I can't go fuck my mistress, or I can't go have sex with my boss at work or whatever, and then well, I have to get divorced so I can go have sex with people outside of this terrible marriage I'm in. So I think that was part of it. And then a lot of people were at home, and then they got used to being alone. And then I certainly did. And then you get spoiled. And then at first you're like lonely. And then eventually you're lonely and desperate. And then eventually you're just like, I'm lonely and desperate, but I'm also like, I don't want to change my life for anybody or anything. I just want to be like, I want people to come to my house. People are like, I can now order everything. I can order food. I can get Uber food. I can get, my groceries delivered. I can get weed delivered. I can get booze delivered, I think. I don't know. I don't drink that much, so I don't get anything delivered. I go get everything because I like people. I know that sounds like I'm very upset with people, but I actually love people. And again, I just feel like it's a small percentage of people that are hyper assholes now, And so I think that a lot of people were at home and they were like, I can just order food in a grocery, like restaurant food and groceries and sex and booze and whatever. And then they're getting people, and then they're also getting like people to have sex with them through the apps. So the dating apps, people on dating apps are like, I'm looking for a long-term relationship. Don't come at me unless you want a long-term relationship. And then you like meet those people and they're like, let's fuck immediately. And I'm just here for the fucking. And you're like, what did you say on the app? And they're like, well, whatever. That was a lie. So what I'm getting at is some people are using the dating apps to have sex and masturbation delivered. And then they're using, everything is just it's so weird right now because, if you go doom scrolling on the internet, then on your phone or whatever, you're like, the world is so crazy and war and blah, 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 and then politics and and then you're like, oh my God, I'm so crazy and I have to work 3 jobs to pay the bills. And meanwhile, we are also like so spoiled. So we're all like, oh, I don't have to leave my house for fucking anything. I can just have everything delivered, including sex and food and booze and drugs. And movies. Like people don't have to go to the movies anymore. And so they don't have to go to concerts. I mean, people still go to these things, of course. But, all I'm really saying is that I think that people have become very spoiled. And yet at the same time, everybody's a victim of the culture we're in, It's a very weird thing. And I think that these conflicting problems are making humanity and humans bonkers. They go like, I don't have to apologize to anybody for anything. That'll just show weakness or whatever. I don't know what their problem is. And then they're like, the people that I had to deal with today with the post office, they didn't connect with me on any level. That was just this obstacle in front of them. They were just like, what do I have to do to get this obstacle out of my face? Me, the nicest person in the world. And so I'm like, I'm just this obstacle. And then when you go, now I will say, like when I called like my credit card company, my bank and everything, super nice. This is what I'm saying is like, I'm not here to say like everybody's all mean and whatever. That's not it at all. That's not it at all. 90-something% of people I think are really great. Or 80-something. I don't know. You come up with your own percentage. But what I'm telling you is, I think that this is my Karen moment for the day. I don't get very Karen-y. And I don't really, and I have a friend named Karen, so I don't really like using this term. But, you know the term, and you know what people are doing. And I just think, like, I don't even know what the conclusion is. Like, I try my best every day to love everybody in front of me. Like even after this when I was going from this one post office to this other post office today, I was thinking to myself, I was listening to peaceful stuff in the car, and I was thinking like, do I like myself? I just want to like myself. Don't let this change me. You know, because the most important part of all this to me, today's exercise was, don't let this change me, you know. And so I went to the second place, and then that person was even meaner than the person at the first post office. And so I was like, oh, whatever. So I get into my car, and I was just like, okay, whatever happens, don't let them change who I am. You know, like I love this, you know, did you ever see this movie, Speed Racer? You know, like I loved the old Speed Racer cartoons. And then I watched the Speed Racer movie, and I thought it was decent. It was fine. I had some problems. But there's a great part in it where Speed Racer goes, he's talking to his dad, you know. And he's talking about how something's messed up. And then Speed Racer's dad goes, hey, Speed, I'm paraphrasing. He goes, hey, Speed, you know, don't change to play somebody else's game. Play your own game. Just, you know, and you know, what I like about that is like when I was playing sports as a kid, like street ball, you know, you learn that you have to play your game, not their game. You have to figure out a way to keep playing your game and not their game. And I feel like that's the way I've always been in my career and in my personal life. If somebody's a fuckface, I just try to avoid them. I don't like try to go out of my way to like, you know, ruin their life or scream at them or whatever, vengeance. That's not who I am. You know, I just go like, you know what? They're on their own path. They're on their own path. But today, today my patience was tested. The path that these people are on at these two post offices, they're on bad paths. They need to get their shit together and love humans that are in front of them and not treat us like we're just some obstacles. All right, well, there's my Karen moment. Haha, Dick is not super hilarious, but you know what? I love you very much. I love myself very much, and I don't see you as an obstacle. I see you as a beautiful human being who deserves to be treated like a human being. You know, like if you're in a relationship with anyone, a lover, a friend, a boss, a coworker, whomever, your pets, just try to be nice and good and kind and caring. That doesn't mean that you can't tell jokes. That doesn't mean that you can't be cynical about some things in the world. It doesn't mean that you can't be upset by the news. I'm not saying any of that stuff. What I'm saying is like, don't take your bullshit out on people, you know? And if you fuck up somebody's life for a minute or for several years, just say sorry. You know, and if somebody gives you like something, say thank you. You know, and if you're asking for something, say fucking please. You know, I don't mean to sound like some old fogey, but how about trying please, thank you, and sorry? How about these 3 words? Just say these 3 words a little more if you're a shitbag. I love you. Haha, Dick.